Welcome back to another episode of the Delusionals podcast. Where are we now? Episode 5? Episode 6? Where are we now?
I think it's 5 now. I think it's
Is it
5.
5? Well, I
Yeah.
labelled the document episode 3 earlier, so it's we're off to a good start. I don't know where that came from. It feels like it's my third episode because I missed a couple being away the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, you missed one. We tried to do one last week, but then I had a last-minute bailout. Typical Newcastle fan. Absolute flake.
I enjoyed the Aston Villa episode though. It was a nice one. It was a nice
Yeah, it was nice for me. It was nice for Gaz. Really enjoyed it, so I think he said he'll definitely be up for it again.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, we should definitely get him on, like kind of the three of us or something. Or
Yeah, for sure,
yeah,
for sure. Well, I might have to bring some Arsenal back up if you're going to bring another Villa fan on. But
fucking hell, we should. To be fair, we should have probably done it before this weekend, shouldn't we?
I know. I was going to say it was good for you to talk at length about Villa for them to go out and lose to Arsenal.
Fuck's sake, honestly.
But I think there was a pretty good week of games and some week of games that were vital for this sort of top 4 and bottom 4 kind of situation. I mean, the first one to start on is kind of Everton-Newcastle. That sort of Thursday night game with Everton getting a red card and then a 99th.
99. And can we just talk about the highlight of that match, please? Which was some guy cable tying himself to a goalpost. Like, what was that about? And probably the highlight of that whole thing was actually the bloke who then was like
trying to cut it off. In Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Goddison Park, mate.
Honestly, that picture of that guy's face is like
he's going at it. He's going at it.
So
it's not just a cable tie. What was it? Was it a metal cable tie?
Yeah, so I was speaking to a mate about this yesterday, and I was like, why did it take so long to cut off a freaking cable tie?
Or something.
Yeah, I was like, but apparently it was like, like almost like a kind of a quick release or quick attachment bike lock. So it was like, it wasn't like one of those. Metal. Yeah, it wasn't those rigid ones. It was those ones that are kind of like cable ties. They're flexy, but it's like Kevlar or something. So they're like super. Yeah, but it was honestly,
it's so funny. It's seeing one guy cable tie himself to a goalpost, and then suddenly you've got like multiple health and safety people. You've got the police, you've got the fire brigade, you've got one bloke with bolt cutters, you've got another bloke with fucking plasma cutter. Like, it took about 40 people to get him off. And one of my favourite moments of the whole thing is once they got him off, how he just went complete dead weight and just got dragged away.
and then some guy, some scumbag comes on and he's trying to like help him off. I was like, what is going on?
The video, a guy runs on the pitch and then just starts throwing punches at him and starts kicking him.
It was grim. I was like, what is happening here? This is mental. And but Everton go on and win it. I mean, I still feel like, we'll have to see how they do now after that result.
I mean, they got dominated. They got dominated. I've got the stats up in front of me, and it's 17 shots to Everton's. Newcastle's 17 shots to Everton's 9. 62% possession in Newcastle's favour. 76% pass accuracy to 66. Like, they just managed to scrape out a win. They went down to 10 men and lost one of their sort of main centre midfielder players in Allen, but somehow managed to scrape it out and hold on. And Alex Iwobi 99th minute winner.
Because where does that leave them, like, table wise?
So that leaves them 17th still. They've played the same amount of games as Burnley in 19th, but they've got 2 games in hand on Watford, and they're 3 points clear of Watford.
It's the games in hand, isn't it?
But I think their next game is Watford, I think, or coming up to Watford. Watford was postponed this weekend because they had to catch up against Newcastle.
Wow!
So that one's coming up, and this is what we said a couple pods ago. One of the last things we spoke about was how spicy the bottom of the table battle is because they all play each other. They all play each other.
They've got West Ham, Burnley, Man U, and then Palace. So Watford must be a little later on, but Burnley's
they have to beat Burnley.
Yeah. But I don't want to dwell on that fixture for too long because it's not the highlight. But I mean, that is, it's a big result for them. Big result. It's kept them in it. I think if they'd lost that, I think they'd be in really serious trouble.
No, totally agree.
And another mental game. Next one.
Obscene. 4 injuries in the first half. They had to use all 3 of their subs and their concussion sub in the first half.
I hate Leeds so much.
Lost 4 players and then somehow came back and took a 3-2 win from Wolves after Wolves spent the entire game 2-0 up.
Away at Wolves as well.
Away at Wolves as well, who are really tough and before Arsenal did them, Wolves don't lose when they take the lead. Hadn't lost in 2
Mm,
years, 3 years, whatever the mental stat
mm,
was. And
yeah.
here they are 2-0 up against Leeds right in the driving seat, give up 2 goals sort of in a 3-minute spell, and suddenly a 91st minute winner takes it. I know there was a lot of questions over the red card to Raul Jimenez.
Mm. Yeah,
Over
because it was
should it have been
two
should it
yellows,
have
wasn't it?
been that? Yeah. So I think the second one was pretty well, possibly quite a weak one, but
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, he's not going to be massively the reason you've gone from 3-2 down to, or from 2-0 up to 3-0 down.
No, I mean
Being tougher.
it. You know, it's Leeds are that kind of team, aren't they? That if they get their tails up, they'll just absolutely hound you. They won't give you any room
hmm
to breathe.
hmm
Because they
Yeah,
scored,
new
what was it,
manager in,
two?
they're getting
Was
that
it
bounce, that little new
was it
manager
two
bounce.
goals in like 10 minutes? 2 goals in 5 minutes or
No,
something like that?
they scored in the 63rd and 66th, so they suddenly took 2 goals back and
Yeah,
took
in
the
three
draw.
minutes.
So
Yeah, so that's what I'm
in
saying.
3 minutes, yeah.
They just suffocate you very quickly, and they
hmm
just leapt on it. And once it hit 2-2, it was like there was only one team that was going to win that game.
Yeah.
Which I'm so sad about because yeah, can't stand Leeds. Really want them to go down, but they just somehow seem to pull something out of the bag.
I'm going to cut together a
Um,
compilation in the off season of you saying I hate Leeds. It'll be about 3
well,
hours long.
well, did you see? Did me and Gaz talk about like it's even just their chants?
Yeah.
It's Leeds,
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 Leeds.
Leeds, 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 Leeds. We all love Leeds. We all love Leeds. I'm like, fucking hell, mate, get something
It's like, look
original.
me dead in your eyes and tell me you love living in
Marching
Leeds.
on together. It's like God.
um,
Fuck.
you can tell there was a lot of injuries in the first half of this game because Wolves' second goal came in 45 plus 11.
Plus 11. What the hell? Look at it. It's got. You know what? Right. I wonder if this is like. Oh, there's not enough games, but I was going to say if you like took the cumulative minutes of all the games over the weekend, it might have been like one of the longest because obviously
Oh, it
Everton
might be one
had
of the
like
longest Premier League weekends. Yeah,
yeah, because Everton had like 9 minutes extra. They had 11 in the first half or whatever, But there was only 5 games,
yeah,
so it's not
and it was
enough.
still the
But
longest.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
On to the next one, everyone's favourite game of the weekend, one that you were at over at Villa Park, and that was Aston Villa Arsenal. I mean, give it to me from your perspective, and I'll give it to you from what I saw.
Um, First half, you completely dominated us. You just the midfield completely dominated us. We had nothing going. We were very flat. We looked lethargic for most of the game. We looked very rusty. Like for some reason, like possession wasn't good, passing wasn't good. It was all sloppy. We were giving the ball away far too easily. I was surprised it ended 1-0. Like I was kind of
hmm
going later on in the game. I was going to the guys. I was like, I keep forgetting it's only 1-0. We only need one chance here.
Yeah.
Um, so I was surprised that you guys didn't go on and actually score more. I don't actually feel. I might be completely wrong. I don't feel like in the second half you really caused. I don't think you really forced us into a save or anything. I don't think you really
No,
did
no,
much.
we didn't have the strongest second half, and to be honest, there was a long stretch of about 15, 20 minutes in that second half where the ball was in our half, and it was you travelling with it, and you kept putting crosses
Yeah,
in,
we
and
still didn't
you hit the post.
really.
You just didn't have anything clinical. Nothing cut the defense apart. The defense
Yeah.
stayed really together. Nothing cut them apart. The crosses were overhit, and as you said, a bit of rust, a bit of whatever it was, just
Mm,
not quite with it. Where the crosses are missing only by a few meters, and yeah,
yeah, it was just. Yeah, it was just.
nothing's cutting edge. Nothing's cutting through the defense.
It was a frustrating game from our point of view. Yeah, it was one of the. It's almost one of those where you're kind of like, I'd rather have seen us lose 3-0 and how like just go for it than
Yeah,
we didn't really do anything. It's weird. He
yeah.
changed the setup, right? So because he's been going with Watkins and Ings up front prior to this game, and he's had Coutinho sitting off him as a number 10.
hmm
Whereas he changed it up and he went for Buendia over Ings. So you had the two number 10s with
hmm
Watkins up front. And it just didn't work.
No.
It's really strange because previously the whole point was that Ings and Watkins couldn't play together. The
hmm
whole thing was like it doesn't click when they're together. It works when they're on their own. Blah blah blah. Then it started clicking when they're together, and then he's changed it, and we're like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why have you done this?" So it's
Yeah.
it's a bit strange. I don't know whether he just wanted to be more defensive because Buendia's got more of an engine on him. He'll track back.
hmm
He'll kind of
Yep.
do more of the hard work, whereas Ings does do that as well, but not quite as far. Yeah, it just like Douglas Luiz didn't have a great game, didn't cover
No,
himself
he
in
didn't.
glory.
Didn't at all.
The only player who, as always, we call him Mr. Consistent, is Matty Cash. The guy just picks up the
Yeah,
ball
he looked pretty
and
good.
basically just ran through your entire team and drew the
Yeah.
foul on the edge of the box. I'm just like,
Yeah, it was a hilarious run.
he's just unbelievable. I mean,
Polish Cafu, mate.
yeah, we'll be very, very lucky to keep him.
Yeah. Yeah, you think he goes?
Well, Atletico are sniffing around him as a replacement for Trippier.
Trippier, yeah, makes sense.
But
it's tough for you to keep him, but I do think you have more draw than people give you credit for. I mean, you are making that push to try and get those European spots and start to sort of cement yourself as starting to become best of the rest of that kind of middle pack.
Yeah,
I'd
like us to.
Grealish will have massively help propel you to that.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of like silly season coming around now where apparently we're making preliminary moves or plans to try and get Calvin Phillips.
Yeah, I've heard there's been some interest from a few teams for him.
It's the holding mid role. Like the holding mid role for me is like so key because it'll allow Douglas Luiz to be an option further forward. It will also allow the rest of the team to just kind of push on. Like John McGinn might not be able to have to hold quite as deep all the time. So it's a reason for us. The thing I was talking about Gaz with and that Gaz and that was with Gaz and that is getting mixed up was the thing is I feel like you need to build a squad, right? So you need to look beyond your starting 11. However, the only way you can really do that with really good quality players is if you can offer them Europe. Now, the problem is we can't currently do that. So when people are saying to us, oh, we probably need 3 good signings, 3 quality signings.
It's tough
I'm
to
like,
get.
okay. Well, it's not just tough to get them because I'm like, well, okay. Well, if you're saying that, then we're not going to bring in 3 quality signings to sit on the bench because they don't have the Europe to play in and rotate the squad with. We'd have to hamper Jacob Ramsey's development. We'd have to replace Buendia or Coutinho. And it's like, really?
They're both guys you just brought in.
And John McGinn. And I'm like, well, are you going to displace any of them, really? Like, and then even the striker thing, the guys are saying, oh, well, we need a striker who's clinical. I'm like, we've got Danny Ings, who last season
made a career of being clinical.
Yeah. And I'm like, so obviously there's either something to do with the way we're set up. There's obviously something to do with the way we're just playing or something because
anything at the back, nothing defensively.
Well, I tell you what, Chambers had an injury midweek.
Screamer that he scored the other week was a joke.
Tyrone Mings with the assist as well. So it's like a full-on centre-back pairing. That goal was unreal. But he got a head injury in that game against West Ham. That's the only reason he wasn't in the team against you lot. But he's been brilliant. And to be honest, Constance is a fantastic deputy to him. Whether he'll stick around and be happy to sit on the bench, I don't know. Whether they'll get rotated, I don't know. You ideally don't want to rotate your back four. Digne, relatively solid. I wouldn't say he's much of an upgrade on target. Cash, very good. Mings, the thing with Mings is he's a liability, but he's a massive kind of voice on the pitch and he's our captain. And you're not
it's so tough
him.
with those guys, isn't it? Because they're so up and down. And when it comes to, I mean, if you was to be honest about like if you're making that push, the upgrade's probably one of the centre backs. Like as in a big new signing, it's probably going to be a big. Can you get rid of your captain? No, but he is a bit of a liability at the same time. Like Arsenal put themselves in that situation with Xhaka, where like, right, this guy's now kind of the worst player, or if we was to try and push on, we need to replace him. But he's the captain. He's not going to like to be forced out. But at the same time, he's also a liability. He gets sent off 4 times a season, 5 times a season. Like misses crucial tackles, which are then costing you points, which is the reason that you can't push on. So you get put in such a tricky situation where these guys have such important things that they're doing off the pitch, which make them sort of unsellable, making themselves so valuable for being.
It's that. It's also like he's English. He's been in the league for however long now. He's left-footed centre back,
which is rare
as well, and he's a ball-playing left-footed centre back. It's like you kind of your catchment is really narrowing.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, the replacement would have been Conser, which
Yeah.
Chambers is obviously now the option there.
Hmm.
Hawes is very much a backup squad player. Probably
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he went. If I'm honest, we need a backup left back now.
Yeah.
Unless Target comes back, because Ashley Young is actually young. He's 36. He can't play the role of a wing back.
You play him to go forwards. You're not paying him to make tackles. You're paying him for his
No,
crossing and his
yeah,
ability to
exactly.
get down the wing and cross.
Exactly. And to be fair, when when he's played more centrally and kind of off the shoulder of the defender, he's been quite pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, left back. I mean, Saka against him was just freaking hilarious.
Literally, you could tell
the,
they would go in there as well all game.
the first 5 minutes, I was like, oh my god, this is like Sarr from Watford up against Target at the start of the season. Completely rinsed him the whole game.
Yeah, I think I messaged you as soon as that game started. I was like, well, we've clearly seen which side of the pitch we're playing down.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, you guys though you've hit some form. Obviously, you had the game against Liverpool, but realistically,
it's Liverpool. We're not beating Liverpool. To be honest,
you played well though. Was it the first 15, 20
well.
minutes you were
well.
really good?
I mean, and the goals that we conceded one was a shot at the near post, which I mean, it did come from a pretty short range, but you kind of back your keeper to get a hand on it.
Yeah. He'll be kicking himself for that one.
Yeah, and the second one was we tried to clear the ball down the wing, and instead of basically the clearance got blocked, and the guy just got in behind from a block clearance, and then they played across the front of the goal and tapped another one in. So it didn't feel like they cut us apart at all. Like we've and one of the biggest things that I've noticed, kind of since Arteta, but even more so in the last few weeks, is defensively we're just not really conceding much. Like against you guys, like you had chances, but nothing was getting through the defense. The defense played a really good game.
Yeah, we like you were really you were just really. It's like whenever
organised.
Whenever Coutinho got the ball or anything, it was just swamped. Like he didn't get any room. Didn't get any
the
chance to get
midfielders are working defensively. Our central attacking mid Erdegaard working defensively. Like the man,
what a player!
Man runs about. He's phenomenal. The guy runs like 2-3 kilometers more than anyone else on the team every single week. Like when then they release the figures of the running distances, it's like Party does like 12k in the middle of the game or whatever, and like Erdegaard's doing 15k a game non-stop, and he's like 90th minute and he's sprinting back from a counter attack to defend.
Nuts.
Like guy is nuts. But yeah, no, we've hit some good form. I mean, we're 5 wins from our last 4 now. One obviously being against Liverpool, but
we've still got a game in hand. Fourth, haven't you?
Well, we got 3 points. We got 3 points on Spurs, who are our closest behind us. We've got a game in hand on them. So if we win that game in hand, that's massive. But we also play Spurs fairly soon, which is going to be huge. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big game. But just a quick on the Liverpool thing, just a quick mention of I don't know if you watched Forest Liverpool.
I saw bits of it, but I saw you raging at the referees.
Right. Okay. So referees, can we just get onto this? Because I went to QPR. I went to Forest QPR last week, a week today. I then went to Villa Arsenal. To be fair, the Villa Arsenal game wasn't horrendous.
He was very whistle happy, but it was quite a testy game as well.
Yeah. And then Forest Liverpool, right? These 2 games, so especially the 2 Forest games, the standard of refereeing in this country is horrendous. Like
it's the worst officiated sport.
We watch Premier League, right? This, going to watch a championship game, I was literally like, what is this ref on? Like, it was appalling. The thing that gets me, right, is a player goes down in the box, the ref doesn't give a penalty. Dive? Is that not a yellow card then? It's not a penalty. Yeah. He's just literally flung himself to the floor. So you're not going to give me a yellow card. And then literally the ref at the Forest QPR game was, I was like, I could only describe him as a QPR fan because, and I'm pretty neutral. Well, I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Forest, right? I like Forest, but it's not my passion.
You don't care if they win or lose.
Yeah. But my God, it was atrocious. Like, a Forest player would touch a QPR player, go down, yellow card. There'd be cards all over the place, free kicks. QPR would be like, I'd only constituted as rape. That's the only thing I could see that was happening on the pitch. And I was like, how is that not a free kick? It's not a free kick. It's nothing. against your lot, I mean, I can't, that Mings challenge. I think the point I'm trying to make with that is, what else is he meant to do?
This thing is they both were at full speed, both putting an outstretched leg in. You're going to come out of it. Someone's coming out of that getting flipped in one
Yeah,
direction or
but
another.
he's got the ball
It
clean.
was a yellow. It was a yellow card
Do you
for
think?
like
Do you think
not from
because
the actual act of him kicking the ball, because obviously everyone goes, well, he kicked the ball. It's like, yes, but the point of the foul there isn't the fact that he kicked the ball or got the ball first. The thing that they looked at was reckless and endangerment, and putting your body through someone else's body at full speed is endangering someone recklessly, and that's what it's given for, not the act of, oh, he kicked the ball first. You can't kick the ball first and then kick
I
someone
know
in the head.
that, but like I'm kind of like looking at it, going, so what would you suggest Mings does there then?
Well, the thing is if it's reckless endangerment you're looking at, and you're looking at someone basically running through someone, the thing is you either change the angle you're running at and try and come at it from a wider thing. Again, way easier to say that after looking at it, or you back out of those 50-50 challenges like that. You either,
That
instead of like
how
flying through,
shit would that game be? How
oh, it'd
rubbish
be
would
shit.
a football match
It'd
would
be
that
shit.
be?
But
Just going,
it's a yellow
oh no,
card.
go on, see you in a bit. It's like
No, I agree. But I still think it's a yellow card based on it. What they're looking at is reckless endangerment. You can't just flip someone on their neck. That is, which way you look at it, if you got the ball first or not, that is endangering someone recklessly.
yeah, I don't know. I
It's
think
almost an unavoidable one for me.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm just like, what is he meant to do in that situation?
Yeah.
He's a defender. He's going full into the ball. He's got the ball cleanly. Yes, he's taking the player, but what else is he meant to do? Like I think that's my point when I look at it. Is like there's nothing else you could do. Might as well. So it's just like he's going to get a yellow card, but he
It's get
can't do
your card
anything
or
about
back
it.
out of it, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Which just seems silly to me.
Yeah.
Well, there was that one, and then Forest Liverpool. Uh, It's absolutely killer. Like I was speaking to so there was an offside. Well, there was a possible offside for Liverpool's goal. Um, it kind of like it felt like a very quick decision, considering a lot of the
How
they
long
get
we
the
had it on
lines
VAR?
out and shit. They look at it for ages, and I'm just like, is that a bit dodgy?
Yeah.
It was so close. They didn't really show it properly, and then there should have been a possible penalty for Forest at the end. Now, I think he's been too honest. So he's tried to go round the keeper. He's maybe ever so slightly heavy touched the ball. I think if he doesn't get clipped by the keeper, though, he might get to it. Right?
Yeah.
The keeper has 100% took it, like he's hit him with his hand, his foot, he's
Contact.
gone
Yeah.
down. It's
Yeah.
like 100%. There's no way they can debate that. So, but they just don't give anything. The ref waves it away, and VAR again very quickly, no pen. And it's just kind of like, where's the consistency? Because the amount of times I've seen like Villa playing a game, and so I don't know, someone stroked the lace of his left
Yeah.
boot, and he's
then
gone down,
It's gone. Yeah.
and it's a pen. It's just
Yeah.
bollocks, really.
And it's
pretty shit.
so annoying because it feels like it's something we talk about every fucking week.
Ah,
Every
it's
single
really
week,
annoying.
there's something in VAR that's like
If there was no VAR, there'd be no podcasts. I'm telling you.
literally, yeah. They'd be at least 25 minutes shorter every week.
Yeah.
But, they just there is no consistency with it, and VAR was brought in to make there be more consistency because the standard of refereeing previous to VAR was horrendous as well. Like refereeing in this country has always been
Which is
laughably
terrible,
shit.
right? Surely
Oh, I
that's
mean,
not.
it's
Surely
the
that's not the
epitome
answer.
of the sport. It's the
Well,
epitome of the sport. It
well,
can't
that's not
just
the
be
answer,
it's
right?
always going to be shit.
The answer can't be, oh, the referees are shit, so we're going to spend all this money on some kind of technology to try and make it better. No,
Yeah.
just get better referees.
Yeah.
Just referee better. Like I was speaking to the father-in-law. I was talking about, we need ex-players becoming referees. Like we need players who have played the game.
Understand the flow of the game.
Yeah.
And that.
But equally, I was like, who the fuck would want to be a ref? Like literally, you make a decision, you get berated by the fans, you got the players in your face.
Mate, I used to ref under sevens football when I was like 15, and the fucking parents are the biggest cunts you've ever met. I'm like, these are like 6-year-olds. What are you fucking want them to do? Like,
it's a foul, mate. He's picked up the ball. It's handball.
Like, two kids completely just ran into each other, both at full speed, both just ran into each other. No foul either way. It's complete 50-50. No one, they weren't looking at each other, both just ran into each other. I got one fucking dad going, "That's a fucking foul." I got the other dad on the other sideline, "That's a foul, this way you go." And then, these are like 6-year-olds. Just let you get up and fucking play. Like, what's going on here? Screaming at a
How
16-year-old
did you
ref while
get?
they're 7-year-olds.
How did you get to the situation that you were refereeing 6-year-old matches at the age of 15?
So a friend of the family was a coach for Coney Hall Football Club. He was a coach at Coney Hall for the under sevens, and they just needed refs. And they was like, it's like 20 quid to come down ref for 60-minute game. And just give 20 quid at the end of it. I was like, yeah, fine. Right? That
Oh,
don't sound like
nice.
anything too deep. So I used to go and do it. And then after about 5 times, I was
Wasn't
like, mate,
worth it.
I understand why you get no refs because these fucking parents.
Amazing. That's quality.
But speaking of
Oh,
referees retiring like myself, one of the biggest arseholes in football is gone, Mike Dean.
oh, has he?
He's announced he's retiring at the end of the year.
Oh, Mega D.
Which is
Big D.
fantastic. That man literally celebrates when he refs against Arsenal when the other team scores. You can he fist pumps. He's fucking the
Isn't he
man's
the
a
one?
joke.
Isn't he the one that's got that classic video where he runs off going like this, and he's like running back. He blows
There's
his
a clip of
whistle.
him after
He's
Spurs score
jumped
against
up and
Arsenal,
he's
and the
like,
guy
man.
just starts fist pumping. He fucking runs with his arms up.
Yeah,
Man,
that
you're
was
the
it. He
fucking
ran back and
referee. What are
he
you
was like,
fucking doing?
he was like, yeah, it's like kick off, and he runs back off like this.
He's an
So
absolute
funny.
joker. Absolute joker. But good thing he won't be reffing any Arsenal games
Wow.
after next season.
Wow.
Madness.
Right.
Um,
What were the other games? So there was Leicester Brentford, I think, wasn't there as well?
yeah, 2-1. 2-1 Leicester.
Kind of
Nice,
having a
nice.
just they're just having their season's just fizzling out, really, isn't it? They're not really.
Very middle of the pack. I mean, right now they are literally middle of the pack. They are 10th.
Yeah.
They have got a couple of games in hand on people, but I think the highest they can actually get to is above you with their games in hand. So they can only kind of get to 9th.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I mean, obviously we've got like 2 games on other people and stuff. I can't believe, based on our current run and the way that I feel like we've been playing and stuff, that we're 9th.
No,
I
you
was
feel
like,
like you're really high up there, yeah.
yeah. Well, I was like, surely we're like 12th, 13th.
Yeah.
No, we're 9th. What the hell? Mental. Wow. Have you seen Brighton's form, by the way? I just looked at that. 5
They've
losses
been
on the
good, haven't
trot.
they?
No,
Well,
5
sorry.
losses on the trot, mate.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
yeah, really
They've
good,
been
mate.
really good. Yeah,
Quality.
no, sorry, 5 losses on the bounce. Yeah. And that was almost before these 5. They were having a good run because we was
Yeah,
talking about how tough they're going to be to go and play at, and they've gone on a
yeah,
horrible streak of
yeah. They're shocking at the
5 on the
moment.
bounce.
Spurs, West Ham as well.
Spurs, West Ham, big one for Spurs. If they are trying to sort of keep the pressure on us to that 4th spot, they want that Champions League spot. So it's a big one
Yeah.
for them, and a really tough
So-
one for West Ham. I actually backed West Ham because they were 5-1, and I thought that was really long for a team that is pretty good. Because West Ham aren't a joke either, but
Yeah, they've been
they've had
slipping
a
down
little bit
a
of
little as
trouble,
well.
a little bit of trouble the last couple of games. But
Yeah,
yeah, I think that's it for. I mean, there was a few more games, but they were kind of the main games for talking points on,
yeah,
particularly sort of Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, Wolves, and the game of the week, Arsenal, Villa.
yeah. Fuck off.
Would there been an international break now and no kind of FPL or nothing like that? We haven't put in a section for James's FPL weekly column.
No, I mean it's a
But
useless column anyway. If I'm honest, it doesn't really offer
I'm
anyone any
16th in
insight.
the league anyway. So,
Yeah, out of 16.
so I put in a little section to talk about the stories of the last couple of weeks because there
Yeah.
were some great moments. We touched on one of Mike Dean retiring. The second one's really funny to me. It was the Ronaldo hat trick versus Spurs. United looked like they was in the bin that game. Nothing was going right for them, and the Messiah came through with
It's classic
the
Ronaldo, though, isn't it?
obscene hat trick. But the reason I put this in here is because this is 100% the reason Tom Brady unretired. 100 fucking percent. This is why he unretired because Tom Brady was at that game
Yeah.
at United, and he's gone there to watch Ronaldo because he's greatest of all time at his sport. Brady, greatest of all time at his sport. He's gone to go and watch another goat do goat things. Ronaldo has then at this point Brady's retired. He's not coming back next year. It's done. Ronaldo scores a hat trick, sends the place into absolute mayhem. After the game, Brady goes onto the pitch and he talks to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo has obviously inspired Brady to another level of
Do you think?
holy shit. Because Ronaldo said to him, "So you're done then?" And Brady looked at him and smiled. And then, like 3 days later, Brady announced his unretirement. He was inspired by a goat doing goat things, and he was like,
Yeah,
"I'm not done. I'm going to go and do some more." Because
that's
he
pretty
spent. There's no
amazing.
way that man spent a month with his family and said, "No, fuck this. I'm going back
Yeah,
to train 12 months a year because my
yeah,
family's unbearable."
that's pretty amazing, really. I mean, Ronaldo, right? Like, it's it's like it's like he can just turn it on when he wants to. Like he's
And when he turns it on, he's just a completely different level, like
and
like like unplayable.
how long do you think he's got left? Like as in, and I'm not talking MLS or like Chinese
At the
league.
top.
No, these clown leagues, whatever they are. Like I'm talking Premier League. He's not exactly going to go to like Crystal Palace or he wouldn't go to Newcastle or whatever. Man
He
U's
just
where he wants to stay. So
he just strikes me as someone who is so physically above anyone else at his age and out of guys who are much younger than him. Apparently, he takes his physical care and the care of his body to such a different level that they no longer have ketchup and stuff.
yeah, I
Like
heard
they
about
don't
that. Yeah,
like just next level of caring for himself. And I think as long as he has a drive and he wants to be at the top, which to me feels like he's going to want to be at the top until he physically can't run anymore. I think he can play. I think he'll be one of them weird guys who'll play into his 40s and still be
I think
like
the only thing that
up
might,
there.
I think the only thing that might stop him is because he's back at Man U, right, where it kind of not started, but yeah, it
It's
did
where he
kind of,
became
yeah,
Ronaldo, kind of. Yeah.
right. And do you think that if next season, not next season, I think he'll stay next season. If the season after that, Man U are like, no, we're not renewing you. Do you think that's the point? Do you think it actually kind of goes out of his hands that Man U not renewing his contract and Man U not wanting to keep him is what makes him stop? Because where would he go?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I just personally, I think he's going to be at the top in whatever league he plays at until he retires. Because again, like I don't think possibly if United weren't to re-sign him at the end of however many years and say kind of either you're not what you were or we're going in a different direction or whatever, I still think he will have such a drive in him to go and play because I just think he's like mentality wise, I think he's built differently. I think he just has such a drive to be the best at what he does that
Hmm.
until he physically cannot do it, he will be trying to be the top. Whether that means he's got to go to the MLS, as you said, and he'll dominate the MLS, or whether he ends
Hmm.
up going wherever else to dominate wherever else. I think basically wherever he goes, he will be the best player in the league,
Yeah.
and
I
that's
think,
kind of why I think he'll just keep playing until he
so would
can't.
you say he's the best player in the Premier League?
I think when he turns it on, he's easily the best player in the Premier League. I think it's fucking Ronaldo. I think when Ronaldo is on, there's not anyone better than him. Messi's the only other person who's even in the same conversation when they're both on, and the only reason you can say it's only them two, for me anyway, is because they've been doing it for such a long time. You've
Hmm.
got your
Such a, yeah.
Mbappe's and you've got your Neymars and you've got these other guys who are pushing through and have been doing it for X amount of years. But this guy's been fucking at the top for 18 years. He's been
Yeah.
unreal for 18 consecutive years. Messi, unreal for like 17, 18 consecutive years. Like, there's no one at the top of many other sports. Like, the only other people with that level of dominance is like the Williams sisters in tennis. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it's just
But
obscene
yeah.
how good they are when they're on.
Yeah. It is. And, classic question, Messi or Ronaldo?
So I'll fight the
I think they're
corner.
different. I
They are.
think they're
No, they are.
different.
They are.
I think it'd be like going like say for instance go with Arsenal and going I don't know Erdegaard or Lacazette or whatever.
Yeah.
They're different players.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they are different players, and it's because they competed in the same league for such a long time. Both are
Ah,
teams that won everything every year. Like I've
I'd love them
personally always
together.
been. I'd
I'd love
love
them
it. It'd just
together.
be obscene. It'd just be obscene. It'd be absolutely
Or would
obscene.
it be one of those that just doesn't work? Like it's just like
I would love if they did an all-star game every year and they just voted. The fans voted for the best 22 players, and they play an 11v11, and they
yeah,
just do one game at the end of the season. It's like
yeah,
North
that'd
versus
be
South or something. Like whatever, however you split it. But I mean, Messi versus Ronaldo. I've always been the Messi fan. Always. Not that Ronaldo isn't easily the second best that I've witnessed in my lifetime. I've always been a Messi fan for various reasons. But I've gone through all of the stats of all of their seasons. I've gone through. I've compared it. I've gone through the numbers. I've gone through the
you
numbers.
bloody have, and you got a spreadsheet
No, I
somewhere
have
that's like
absolutely
yeah.
have. And there
I
was a
think
season where Messi, over 40 games, averaged 2 goal contributions a game for the entire season. Ronaldo has never even remotely come close. Like, and that for me is just obscene.
the one question I have though over it is I feel like Ronaldo has shown it everywhere he's gone. Like if Ronaldo's had moves, he's been to Juve, he's done it
Mhm,
at Real Madrid, he's done it at Man
mhm.
U. Whereas Messi's made one move and it hasn't really worked. Well, from what I've seen, from
No,
what I've
the
heard, it
PSG
hasn't really
move's been a bit
worked.
stressful. I mean, I do understand the argument of he's done it in other leagues. The Italian league is a bit of a joke outside of the five teams.
Yeah.
Spanish league's a bit like that as well. Premier League's the only one that I would say I'd like to go and see him in. Ronaldo went to Syria, was good for a year and a half, and then that Juventus team completely fell apart because of the way it
Mm,
had to play around him. They fell apart. They were shit. They're like eighth in the league. They're not even
mm.
that far up there now. Um, Messi, if you put Messi's stats for every time he's played a Premier League team in the Champions League, his
Yeah, I know
stats are
you said
absolutely
this.
obscene as well. Like and I know it's over multiple years, but he's played the equivalent of like a full season, like 30 odd, 40 odd games against Premier League teams. And he's battered them. And it's not like he's playing Stoke when they're in the Prem, and he's not playing like
Mm,
Norwich and fucking Everton. Like the guy's playing Liverpool at their top, Chelsea at their top, United
mm,
at their top, City at their top, and he's battering them every time. So I completely understand the argument, and I would love to see him do a full season in the Premier League to see what he can do. But that doesn't make Ronaldo better for me.
mm. Does he come? Does he come to like Newcastle? Do you think something happens? Do you think PSG? Do you think he ends his career at PSG, or do you think there's another move in it for him? Because if there's another move in it for him, I'd love like yeah, so a rich club like Newcastle or even Man City, but I don't think they would go there. You know that kind of player. I think the Man City thing kind of passed by. I think that there
Yeah,
was a
yeah, he won't be
chance
there.
once. There was one
Him and
season, wasn't
Pep,
there,
they
where
knew each other.
maybe
Yeah,
would have
because him
yeah.
and Pep were talking about each other. And yeah,
Um,
I think there's a move left for him, but I think he's one of those guys that's going to want to go and play for his childhood club, and he's going to end up
yeah, he'll
like
go back,
back
won't
in
he?
Argentina, and he'll play for a team in Argentina or something.
Such a shame.
He'll do something like that.
Such a shame.
It's the great what if, the great what
Yeah.
if.
So what you
Um,
got next? What's this? Battle for
Next
top
one, top
four.
of the top four. It was just a recap of where we're at with the top four. I know we've touched on it sort of loosely with the Arsenal sort of being in there, the game in hand, and 3 points to go, but it's still super tight. And as I say, Arsenal play the teams around them. We've got to play Chelsea.
That Arsenal Spurs game is absolutely massive. Like
It's massive, yeah.
that for me is like a decider, like in my
hmm
opinion.
Yeah, it's huge.
Um, Spurs haven't been consistent enough. That's been their problem. They've had like a massive win and then they've gone and lost to like what was it, Brighton or something random. You know, they have these random games.
Yeah,
Man U, how Man U are still where they are, I have no idea.
no idea. No idea.
But
Um,
I think again, I think the top four are more consistent, and that's what will get the top
yeah.
four. I think the top four, as it is, will be the top four.
You think it'll finish like that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
can
he'll
see it.
catch Chelsea.
I can see it. Um, and the next thing I
Relegation?
was going to look
Don't
at was the
ask me,
bottom
mate.
four. I mean, where are
Don't
we now?
ask
Four or
me.
five games on from the last time we looked at it, and it's still
All
as
I
cloudy
know,
as ever.
all I know is Watford are going down because I want that sub. I'm having
They're
that meatball
absolutely not.
marinara.
Leeds are going to end up going down. Everton are going to jump it up. Leeds will
I
end up going down.
I I tell you what, right? For
You'd buy me
me,
a sandwich if Leeds went down anyway.
I've already told you. I've already said it's a win-win for me. Either I get a sandwich or Leeds go down.
Yeah, that's
So
hilarious.
I am more than happy because I think isn't the last game of the season Watford Leeds. I'm pretty
It's
sure
something
that
like
is.
that. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Oh, what a game that's going to be! Who could have written that at the start of the season when the fixtures came out? That's mental. Oh no, it's Leeds. Hang on, it's Leeds Brentford. Watford Chelsea. Oh, maybe it's Leeds Brentford. Leeds Brentford. That's still a big game.
Um, yeah, I know we play Everton the last day, so it could be the nail in their coffin. Um,
Oh, I'm just looking at some of the run-ins. Like Leeds. Leeds have got. What have they got? Where's Leeds? Leeds. Oh, they've got Man City, Arsenal, Brighton, and Brentford. So
yeah.
those last two games for them are massive. But
Watford still play Everton. They still play Leeds. They still play
oh,
Brentford. They still play Burnley. So their destiny is very much in their own hands.
some of these games, man, that
It's this bottom of the table fight is like crazy. One of the craziest I remember.
Like I think it could be a record low total that keeps them up. I wonder what the record is for the lowest total that keeps you up at the moment. I'm sure I heard it was like 32 or 28 or something crazy like that. But I think like 32 could keep you up this season.
The Baggies, they stayed up with 34 points. It's the all-time low.
34.
Yeah,
So
so it could well be. That's a great shout.
I reckon 32 could keep you up this season.
You'll put a
Yeah.
sandwich bet on. Sandwich bet on if it's under
No, I'm not doing
32,
that.
over 32.
No, I'm not doing that. That's just way too risky.
Under over. I'll take
think-
it over.
So the thing is, right? So say for instance, worst case scenario for Everton, they lose the 2 games in hand.
Mhm.
It is how it is right now. Watford lose their game in hand. You got Brentford on 30, Leeds on 29, Everton on 25, Watford on 22. There's 6 games to go, or no, it'd be 8 games to go in the season.
And they
like
play
you said-
each other. They also they're
Yeah.
not all coming out with 3 points each week. They all play
Yeah.
each other, so a minimum half of them can only win half their games.
I mean, I have no idea. I'm literally looking at it
Absolutely
going,
no idea.
Watford have won 6 all season,
Yeah.
Everton have won 7, Leeds have won 7, Brentford have won 8. What's the odds of them, what's the odds of them, one of those teams picking up like 3 wins? Because
Yeah.
equally, all those games for Watford, they could just draw them all and then they've they've made no ground.
Yeah.
That's all the teams have got to do above them is draw.
Set out and draw, yeah. Yeah, but that's a risky strategy to go for a draw when you're sitting at 25, 29 points and relegation sitting at 22 and desperate for a win. Some of these teams start to turn it up when they do need the wins. They start to get scrappy.
What's crazy as well, right? We talk about Brentford on 30. Villa are only on 36.
It's tight.
It's unreal.
It's tight.
I think anywhere from like Brighton are in there. Like Leeds, Brentford, Newcastle.
Even in there.
Well, Leeds, Brentford, and Newcastle win their next game. Brighton are now 16th.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's a mad table. It's been a crazy year.
Where's the Football Manager holiday mode? Pop that on. Skip forward.
See you in a few months.
Absolutely nuts.
Yeah. I mean, that was the end of kind of the stories. With us going into the international break, I thought we'd have a little look at the squad selection. I'm sure you'll be fighting Jacob Ramsey's corner for not getting in.
I'm fighting his corner in that I think he will be. I think it's too early. I think you don't want to push him in too early. Although with the fact that it's just these like random friendlies, why not at least just have him in the squad?
Yeah.
Just in the squad, just in around it. Although you look at who's in there. What is it? Conor Gallagher, Conor Gallagher.
There was a couple of injuries and a couple of illnesses that have kind of moved people about.
Yeah, well, because Watkins is coming, which I was very surprised at.
Yeah, Ramsdale was in, but he hurt his hip, so he missed our last game. We had Leno play last week.
Yeah,
against you guys at Leno. Apparently Saka's ill now. But
really?
Good to see a call up for Mark. I'm gonna butcher his surname. Mark Guehi.
Guehi. Is it Palace, isn't it?
Palace. Yeah. He's born in 2001, I think.
What on earth? 2000. To be fair, he's still 21.
Real,
then.
Is it? Yeah, he's still 21. Yeah.
So if you got any of these players who are like, well, yeah, so like Jacob Ramsey, for instance, I can't remember how old Jacob Ramsey is.
2004. I can joke. Don't even sound real. Don't even sound like it's possible.
He's where is he? Jacob Ramsey. He's 20. It was 2001 as well.
Madness.
But he's 20. Yeah, he's 21 in May. But no, it's getting silly. All these post-millennial people.
Mad.
I just sound really old.
I'm going to try and pick up a ticket for England Ivory Coast. I'm quite excited for that one.
Oh, really?
It's at Wembley. So I'm not flying to the Ivory Coast.
When is it?
Tuesday next week. A week yesterday.
Oh, I can't go there. I am in London.
You're in London Tuesday.
Yeah, but I've got like a work thing.
You're going to be anywhere near King's Cross? Because I'll come say hello.
Oh yeah, we'll be. Yeah.
Oh sweet. Yeah, I'll say hello then.
Yeah,
I'm 5 minutes that road. So, it's a. I mean, the England team's looking the strongest it's been pretty much since
I'll tell you what, right?
International football.
What do you think our expectations are for the World Cup?
Oh, get to late stages of the knockouts by far. Easily
Oh
get to the
yeah,
late stages of the knockouts. If
I
anything, semis at a minimum.
I was about to say I think expectations are minimum semis.
This team's so good. This team's so good. And I know people are crying about Maguire and all this kind of thing, and
I do
you got.
question Maguire.
Oh no, I question it. The guy's not very good, but at the same time, he was the core of an England team that reached a semi-final of a World Cup,
Yeah,
then reached a
for
final of
England, he's very good, isn't he?
um of a Euros, and
Yeah,
building the core of a defense is very fucking hard to do. If you
yeah,
then just take one of the key components of it out,
yeah,
putting a better individual player in isn't going to mean that defense is going to play better. This
yeah. That's
isn't
true.
Football Manager. This is real fucking football.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
That
That's
meant
true.
that telepathic communication you need with these guys, where you know he's going to be in a position without even having to think about it, is the stuff you need. And to
Yeah,
be honest, they look like they've defended really well at these tournaments. So
yeah.
competition football is very different to a season long getting
Yeah,
points over
and
38
England. To
games.
be fair, England in the Euros were very impressive defensively,
Very impressive
um,
defensively, and he looked
and
like the leader of the defence.
yeah, Slabhead just coming forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it was pretty
I'm
good.
more than happy with him being absolutely pathetic for United. He'd
I
be pathetic for United.
I'd argue, right? I'd look at this and go, "Ah, actually, no, no. I was going to say I'd look at the midfielders and say that's the weak point, but actually, it's
But then
not
it's so
because
strong.
I
Yeah.
was going to say it's not really because it's two holding, isn't it? Whereas because the forwards are what are kind of the wingers and
Yeah.
midfield, so it's only the two holding, which is usually Declan Rice and Phillips. But obviously Phillips is out.
Well, and this is the funny thing is, it's like you kind of look at that. You kind of look at that midfield, and if you was to go, maybe it is kind of the weakest in terms of the depth. Like the talent that's there is still ridiculous, and it's still so young. Declan Rice,
I'd
Mason
love to
Mount,
see
Jude
Bellingham.
Bellingham.
I'd love
He
to see
needs to
Bellingham
play.
play more. He needs to play
He was
more.
phenomenal, and yeah, and I think these friendlies will be a good chance for him to come in and get some more minutes
Do you
under his
think
belt.
he'll
I think
make a
he will
move?
play
Do
more.
you think he'll push for a move to the Premier League so he's kind of more in the limelight?
Maybe Dortmund are phenomenal at developing talent. They just
Hmm.
keep having a conveyor belt of very impressive players coming through. So I wouldn't be surprised if he stuck it out a couple more years there. If
Hmm.
after a couple of years, when he's 23, 24, and he's still looking like he's going to be as good as he is, some of the big boys are going to start come sniffing
Hmm.
for him. The Cities,
Yeah,
United, someone's going to come sniffing for him.
yeah.
So I wouldn't see it in the next immediate sort of transfer window, but maybe give it sort of 2, 3 years, and yeah, I can definitely see him coming to
Hmm.
the Prem.
So
Um,
if Ramsey was to come into the fold, who would he come in for?
this is the
That's the
great
thing,
question.
right?
To me, the only person who slowly starts to drop out, and it's more of an age thing at the next couple of tournaments, is going to be Hendo.
Henderson, yeah.
Um, but again, like there's just so much talent in this midfield. This
It's
like the
ridiculous.
depth is obscene, and the guys who aren't there, like who have shown promise. I mean, they're not as good right now, but Dele Alli's not there. Grealish isn't in this squad. Like,
Oh, Grealish is there. Grealish is
was he in
there.
the squad? Oh, he's
Yeah,
in the
he's in.
squad.
Yeah,
Sorry, he's
yeah,
playing
he's,
forward.
yeah,
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 yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Dele Alli, no, like the guy, he's just lost his head completely.
Oh, he's not nowhere near the same as when he had that promising run of
No,
form.
he's completely gone. I think, yeah, the only players I can think of that I'm kind of like, yeah, kind of looking at Ramsey would have been, I think, a very good addition. Um, I feel so sorry. Well, I don't feel sorry for him because he's going to play every time now. But I'm really gutted that Cash put his allegiance
Yeah, to Poland.
to
The
Poland
depth for
because
right back was a joke. Kyle
yeah,
Walker, fucking
but right
Trippier.
now I'm like looking at it going, right, he probably could have made it into this squad.
He'd have been
Really,
fighting for it, absolutely. I guess, what do you want? Do you want to just walk in and start, or do you want to fight for your spot on a better team and actually have a
yeah.
chance at winning competitions? Some
But
people just want the
I think
caps, don't they?
before he had absolutely no chance, right? I think that was the
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no,
But
yeah,
quick
I'm
touch on
looking
the
forward to.
forwards. The forwards are a fucking joke in this England squad as well. The attacking talent we have in this squad is insane. Who do you play? If you can start 3 of that list, who do you play?
Uh,
And why is it impossible to pick 3?
I'd say I think I'd pick Foden, Sterling, and Kane.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not opposed to that at all.
Oh no, Saka, man.
And Saka
Yeah,
is an option for on the right, and Foden can play in the
yeah.
middle.
Grealish
Foden
can
can
come on,
play.
and when the teams are
I mean,
tired, and
it's
just
just a
start like,
joke, isn't it?
yeah, it's
It's a
absolutely
joke.
ridiculous. And then you got Ollie Watkins,
Yeah, he got Ollie Watkins there. Got Ollie
just
Watkins there. It's
randomly.
hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, it's good to see some of the Arsenal boys starting to get called out. I got Smith Rowe in the lineup, Saka, Ben White's first call up, and
Yeah. Ben White's good.
Ramsdale as well. Right,
Yeah.
I heard someone talking about the keepers the other day, talking about sort of Maguire obviously being in the bin for United, but really good for England. Pickford always performs for England, and then it's pretty questionable for Everton.
Yeah, he's been pretty poor for Everton. But yeah, I mean, you saw him in England. He was
Phenomenal.
fantastic, like
Phenomenal.
penalty shootouts and that and stuff. He was unreal. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I don't really get into the England vibe too much in the international breaks, but I'll probably will watch some of these because I think I'd love to see as long
The
as
squad's so exciting. We're not
well, I
watching
think
like
it's as long as
Rooney bang San Marino 8-0.
yeah,
We're watching some
but as
really
long
good
as the
young talent.
players you don't usually play are playing, so like the Jude Bellingham, the Conor Gallagher, your
Start to
James
give some of these
Ward-Prowse,
guys give them
I
a
don't
chance
just
to
want to
show what
see
they can
him
do.
play the usual 11. I'm just like, well, what's the point? You know, it's a bit stupid.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see Smith Rowe get on the field as well. With I don't know if this is his first call up, but for the Euros, he said Smith Rowe's not quite ready or not quite where they want him to be, and then kind of this season's been phenomenal again. So he's kind of worked his way into that lineup. But
He's similar to Ramsey, right? He's kind of box to box. He like drives forward, right?
he drives forward, but he plays on the wings more. So he'll play.
Oh,
He
okay.
can play sort of left hand. He can play in the middle, but we tend to use him sort of on the left hand side. But we've got so much competition on that left now. With
I was about to say,
as well. Martinelli's insane, but
also
the left side of England is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like
Foden, Grealish, Smith Rowe on the right. You got Saka, in Sterling.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's why it's so valuable for these guys to play multiple positions. If you can play left, middle, and right, then you're going to have way better chance going into the squad at one of them.
I wonder if Watkins will get a run out, because you look at that and there's only two out strikers here. So he might give Watkins a run out against Ivory Coast.
He might get a game against one of them for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Quite nice to see.
But,
cool.
Sweet. Nice one.
That's everything. One.
Yeah,
but I think, cheers for listening, everyone. I think we're going to try and, I think it might be it won't be next Tuesday. It'll be next Wednesday again if we can get a pod out.
Yeah, I was going to work out if we were going to do one next week with the international break. There won't be a whole lot to report on, but we'll touch base and we'll.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, we could always work out.
We'll find something to talk about anyway.
Yeah, there's always something. Awesome.
Sweet. Cheers
for listening.
Catch you next time.
Bye.